You've probably played Cairo Station dozens of times. You fought through the hangars, defended the Mac gun, and yeeted the pickle off of the ship. But hidden inside one random hangar is something Halo 2 never repeats again. A wounded Marine. Not an ODST, not a crewmate, a regular Marine who has clearly been wounded with caked on gore. And somehow, he's the only wounded Marine that spawns in the entire game. What's even stranger, a lot of players will never even see him, because he isn't guaranteed to spawn. The wounded Marine appears in the very first hangar of Cairo Station, near the Pelican parked inside of the bay. But he's part of a randomized squad, and that means not all the Marines in the squad are guaranteed to spawn. So sometimes he'll be here, sometimes he won't. Sometimes another Marine takes his place. Which means you could play this mission multiple times and never realize he exists. But if you do happen to find him, he immediately feels out of place. His face and armor have an uneasy amount of gore that we are not used to in Halo games, other than that one scene in CE with the infected elite. But this is in-game, and there's also more strangeness around him. If we take a look at the Pelican sitting beside him, at first glance nothing seems unusual, until you notice it's slightly clipping directly into the hangar door. It's visibly intersecting the geometry. It's the kind of mistake that's easy to overlook during gameplay, but once you see it, you can't really unsee it. But then, something even stranger can happen in this area. Occasionally, one of the Marines from the Wounded Marines randomized squad can spawn inside of the Pelican, and the result is immediate. He passes away getting crushed before he even gets a chance to move. No firefight, no chance at life. He simply materializes inside of the Pelican and then is crushed by the game's collision. Which raises an interesting possibility with these 2 points. What if the Pelican wasn't originally supposed to be here? If the Marine spawn points were placed first in development, and then the Pelican was placed later on, that would explain almost everything. The clipping, and the Marine spawning inside of it. But that still leaves one question. Why is there a wounded Marine at all here? Because after Cairo Station, there is never another wounded Marine in Halo 2. Not on other Earth missions, not on Delta Halo, not in High Charity. Nowhere. Just a single Marine standing quietly inside one random hangar. I also have 2 theories of why this wounded Marine is here. My first theory is that the wounded Marines were originally planned to appear throughout the campaign. Think about it. Halo 2 is a shooter. Marines are making desperate last stands against the Covenant and Flood. Having injured survivors scattered across the battlefields would have made those battles feel even more real. But Halo 2's development was famously rushed. It's possible wounded Marines were simply just another casualty of that schedule. Bungie may not have had enough time going back into every mission and deciding where to place wounded Marines. They do seem like a sprinkle you would only add after a mission is near complete, as they are only a cosmetic change, and also why he only shows up in the first mission, because that would have been completed first. But my second theory is a little different. Maybe Bungie decided wounded Marines were simply too disturbing. Halo has always shown dead soldiers, but never really the blood and gore caked onto their model, other than those temporary blood splatters and bullet effects. And seeing living Marines visibly injured with gore creates a very different feeling. It's less about action and more about like the casualties of war and the cost of the battle. Even though Halo 2 was rated M for mature, maybe Bungie felt that tone went a little too far with the Wounded Marines. So they were removed. They were cut. Except for this one Marine they forgot about, hidden inside a randomized squad that almost nobody would ever notice. Of course, there's no developer comment confirming any of this that I could find. It could just be a tiny oversight that survived without anybody realizing it. But I think that's what makes things like this so fascinating. It's not a massive secret, only a tiny crack in the game where you kind of get a glimpse of like the development process, as I've explained in this video. So the next time you play Cairo Station, take a little closer look near the Pelican in the first hangar. If the random spawn is on your side, you might come face to face with the only wounded Marine in all of Halo 2. Once you notice him, it's hard not to wonder what story he was originally supposed to tell.